What's up? It's working.
Cool. It's working. All right, y'all. So we just figured we'd. I don't really have much behind the scenes to show you. I do have some information I want to share with you, but we just thought we'd sit down and tell you why we got into production to begin with. Um, so, Garon, would you like to go first?
No.
Awesome. So, I have been doing like audio stuff since a really young age. My dad was the we lived at church. All right. So my dad was like the chairman of the deacon board. My mom played piano. She was a church secretary. My parents were the volunteer youth pastors. Like we were just always there. But my dad was also the volunteer like sound guy. He did all of like the old school tech stuff that we had back in the day. Um, and then I started playing drums and just played in a band in high school, whatnot. And I was always doing the sound stuff for that as well. And eventually got like a little PA and stuff for that for the little band. And that just carried on. And even when I joined the Army, I had my own PA and I was moonlighting in the bars and clubs with my own PA. And that was a lot of fun. And started volunteering more at churches and doing that stuff. Ended up being a volunteer worship coordinator for a church called Parkside Bible Church in Watertown, New York. So and that kind of where I first started to dip my toes into more of a leadership role. And like I know it was worship coordinator, but I was in charge of not much worship. I don't know.
Church.
So yeah, so I did all the tech stuff there for him and scheduled that stuff. But I also was in charge of like running a meeting once a month with all the worship leaders where we picked out songs and that stuff, and that's where the worship part came in. I did not play. Guess I did play drums a little bit there once or twice, but most of the time I didn't do anything. So, and then when my time came up, I knew I was going to get out of the Army. I actually took a train from New York to Chicago, Illinois, and shadowed the production team at Harvest Bible Chapel in Chicago for a weekend. And that's just like when I knew this is what I wanted to do for a living. So I decided to get out of the Army and move my family to Orlando, Florida, so that I could attend Full Sail University. Now that lasted a very short time. I actually,
Because you graduated fast. You graduated early.
Yeah, sure. I graduated to a job, and so I actually started working. I got a job at Harvest Bible Chapel of Orlando, like the next day that I moved to Orlando. So like I got there that night, and then the next day I had a job, and I was already working at a church in production, and quickly learned that I was learning a lot more on the job than I ever was going to learn in the classroom, and the rest is kind of history. It's what I've been doing ever since, and I love it. So this is my third full-time church. So I was in Harvest Bible Chapel of Orlando, which unfortunately kind of imploded on itself. And then got the chance, we moved back home after that, got the chance to work for a church in my hometown called First Christian Church of Decatur, Illinois. And that is where our awesome previous intern, Caleb Belmonte, is at right now.
He's not going to see this.
No, he's not, which is awesome. He's working full-time there as a vidiot. So we love that for him.
So what?
As a vidiot, the video guy. You've never heard of vidiots?
Vidiot?
Yeah.
Like a video idiot?
Yep, that's it. So
First time.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I shouldn't be saying that. Most of our volunteers are video volunteers. I am so sorry, y'all. As a awesome video director doing all of their stuff there. And honestly, he is killing it. Like if you get the chance, hop over to YouTube, look up First Christian Church of Decatur, firstdecatur.org, and check out some of the videos he's making there because he is killing it. And then a good friend of mine called me out of the blue one day and said, hey, if I recommend you for this job in Zephyr Hills, Florida, would you consider it? And I was going to say no. Christina said, well, we should consider this. We can get back into Florida. And here we are. And we're here to stay.
Cool.
Now it's your turn.
I guess. I can't opt out this time.
Not this time.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, my story is somewhat similar, minus like all the Army stuff, to be honest with you. Like, I grew up in church. Both my parents were, my mom was like a kids pastor, worship person. My dad was like a youth pastor, worship person. So I kind of grew up in the Nazarene church. And that's kind of all I knew. Like, did Bible quizzing and lived
just
at
like
church.
Milwaukee, right? Nazarene churches.
Oh yeah,
they're
super similar. We sung like hymns just like we sing every week, and We had like a preschool, which I mean is somewhat similar. We have Fundamental Minds.
Yeah, we do. Well, I mean,
It's like
it's
adjacent.
adjacent.
Yeah. Anyway, just growing up in the Nazarene church, I mean, we had like video games and stuff like they do for youth, and like it was kind of like for a Nazarene church, it was like not super traditional, but bounced around that. Like my parents ended up splitting, and then half my time when I was with my dad, I would start going to Grace Family Church, and then the other half of the time after we left the Nazarene church, we actually came here. So like my entire growing up years, like middle and high school, I was either attending New Walk as like a student or attending at Grace Family Church when I was at my dad's house. But the whole time, like I was on the music side of stuff. So I was playing drums, playing in worship bands, playing in jazz band, playing in bands. Um, and I was just on the music side of things for forever. Um, I served here and volunteered here, played drums here, played drums at Grace. When I was like 19, 20-ish, I ended up moving out to Tampa to go work at a music store, Sam Ash, which doesn't exist anymore. RIP.
It
And
does online, right? I mean,
yeah, but like none of the buildings exist anymore. It was a Spirit of Halloween last October, so that was like a really interesting thing to drive by. Um, but I moved out there for that job, and I started doing more work at Grace Family Church on the music side of stuff, and was like getting contracted out to play and doing all these types of things. And I actually ended up meeting my wife was the technical director of all family ministries there at the time, so that's how I met my wife was while I was on stage drumming and she was behind the sound booth. Um, and then her boss ended up coming up to me one day and was like, "Hey, we're looking for like these part-time on-call type positions for tech. Like, come run this small group and just make sure nobody blows up the console and eat free food, and we'll pay you like, you know, $13 an hour or whatever it was to just sit around for like 10 hours a week."
sounds like a good gig,
And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely.
right?
I'll take free food and worry about one microphone." So that was kind of my easy way of making some extra money on the side that turned into, "Hey, we want you to do this," or "Hey, we want you to come into this event," which turned into, "Hey, we actually, our HR people yelled at us, so now we got to give you a part-time job because we're just like contracting you out too much." And then
Yeah,
it turned into a full-time job, and then I've basically been doing church production ever since. So
that's awesome.
yep, went from there. Then spent like 2 years at St. James, Methodist Church, which is out
That's
in,
even more like New Walk.
yeah, super like Newark, where they had like choir robes and they had a traditional service and a contemporary service. So I got to navigate all those worship wars that definitely, existed. And then one day in a meeting, I was, stuff happened in that denomination, in the Methodist Church. They got a little crazy, and I felt like God was calling me to not be there. So I went on to like churchstaffing.com, which is a place that people that work in churches will go to, like,
That's true. It's like
it's like the spot where it's like,
no
hey,
other. Yeah.
hey, I might want to look for a church opportunity. It's like everyone just goes there.
Yeah.
And New Walk had a job posting that had been posted like 2 days prior.
It's true.
And then I was like, "Oh, that's my home church," and "Oh, they normally hire from within, and now they're posting online. That's got to be a God thing." And I followed up and interviewed with this guy and our executive pastor Pat, and yeah, that's how that went. And now I'm here.
Cool.
Neat.
Awesome. All right. Let's do something else. All right. So, what's this, Christina?
A piece of paper.
Oh, awesome. What's it say?
This is also a piece of paper.
Oh, really? What about this one?
Oh, there's another one.
What about this one?
4 pieces of paper.
What should we do with them?
They're double printed. These are for the Chili Mac Bowl. Sign up, scan the QR code. Nom nom, yummy yummy. You
Yep.
could be heralded in golden mac or brown chili fame. Sign up.
But for real, we need y'all's help. So we've got a few spots. I know we definitely need help with Mac on Sunday. So we need some people to sign up to make a Mac. I know you guys, one of you can make mac and cheese. I can make mac and cheese. If I can make mac
Our
and cheese,
children can make
you
mac
can
and
make mac and
cheese.
cheese. I saw at Publix, they have Cheetos Kraft Mac and Cheese. Now, just go buy some Cheeto Mac and win the thing. I mean, that's gotta win. It's gotta be a winner. Cheeto Mac. It can't be that hard. So go ahead and do that.
Prove to Hope that mac and cheese is not based on Velveeta, please.
Right. And also, just for our directors, so we have changed some stuff around for the bands. The bands made some changes where and how they're doing multi-tracks, which has given them the ability to listen to the actual arrangement and to practice with the actual arrangement in advance. So, directors, specifically Hope and Lance, you're not this weekend, but the following weekend you guys are scheduled for director. We're going to get you guys linked up as directors. If you are directing, and I can't do this for everybody, all right? I can only do this for our directors, which is fine because I am trusting our directors to be the leaders and to know the service already and be able to coach our camera ops to get, the shot that we're looking for and whatnot. So directors, I'm gonna give you, actually already in your email, because you're on Planning Center, you should have gotten an invite from Multitracks. So you should have a Multitracks account. Go ahead, log in, set that up if you're a director, because what I'm gonna be doing is when it's your week to direct, I'm gonna give you access to this app called Chart Builder, where you're gonna be able to listen to the exact arrangement and know the service already in advance. So get ready for that coming down the line. If you haven't started to do the Google migration, start doing the Google migration.
Come chat on chat.
So we need your help on that. It is a good test pilot for us, for the rest of the organization. So help us out with that as well. I think that is it, y'all. We'll see you this weekend. Love you.